A plan to rebuild Dominica on the agenda as the OECS authority gets down to business starting Wednesday. Public Works Corporation could be on the verge of bankruptcy. And Tropical Storm Erica sends planners back to the drawing board for the Bois Diable to White River Road project. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up. First stop in the news, a plan for the reconstruction of Dominica is among issues to be discussed as Dominica hosts the 62nd meeting of the OECS authority.
OECS heads will gather on island from Wednesday for the two-day meeting. Restructuring of the OECS Commission, the OECS Assembly, and the Regional Youth Policy are among the topics on the agenda. This is taking place while government continues to seek international aid to rebuild the country following the impact of Tropical Storm Erica.
The meeting will definitely discuss the strategy for the reconstruction of Dominica after the passage of the storm. We had the donors meeting yesterday, and you may have realized that the OECS Commission played a very pivotal role in that meeting, and in also coordinating the efforts of the agencies with respect to the reconstruction effort. So that will continue to be a main item on the agenda of the OECS Commission.
On Thursday, OECS heads will tour storm-stricken communities in the south with the likelihood of visiting Petit Savanne. For Ambassador Gregoire, a major achievement to be celebrated within the OECS is the free movement of citizens.
At this point in time, we are all aware that we can travel within the OECS freely. We can go in with picture IDs instead of passports. We can go into a country and do not have to apply for a work permit if we go there to work. And that is very critical because when you have to apply for a work permit or get a work permit, that can be an impediment to your own advancement. So we have that. The IDs can be used for a number of things. If you have a driver's license, you can use it to drive in another country. So we really made tremendous strides when it comes to the free movement of persons. And right now, we are looking at the free movement of goods.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell is the chairman of the OECS Authority. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
In other news now, the Public Works Corporation is on the verge of bankruptcy, according to the Public Works Minister, and he says steps are being taken to make operations more sustainable.
A legal battle could take place as the Public Service Union prepares to make a case to the courts about the redundancy of laid-off PwC staff. The 20 employees say they have been in limbo as they have been waiting to be recalled to work since August, following what they thought was a temporary layoff by management. Public Works Minister Ian Pinard told Channel 5 News on Monday the corporation is in restructuring mode.
I cannot tell the union what to do in terms of legal action. It's up to the union to do. What I would do as minister responsible for the corporation, we have to look what is best interest of the corporation now, and especially the rest of the staff who work there. The corporation has been doing poorly in terms of its whole financial situation. In fact, it's almost a bankrupt company, where they are losing money every year instead of making. We're now restructuring the corporation. We have included 3 new board members to assist with that. By the 1st of December, we'll be hiring a general manager to take over at the corporation.
Pinard is confident that the state of affairs at the statutory corporation can improve.
Since after the last general manager resigned, we put an interim general manager, Mr. Labassia, who has been there for over a year as an interim basis. We brought a lot of difficulties in terms of some of the implementation at the corporation. Some of it has to do with restructuring, and I think with the changes that we've made, getting a general manager whose background is finance, I think that's going to help us a lot. And we expect, the corporation getting back on its feet is not going to happen in a month's time or even 2 months' time. But we feel in the next 2 to 3 years, the corporation will be able to bounce back and will be doing well.
The Bois Diable to White River Road project may have to be reassessed after the passage of Tropical Storm Erica. The $20 million EU-funded project was originally signed for 18 months and due to start in March. Lurian Graham Carter reports.
A project which was scheduled to begin on the Bois Diab to Dalis Road has officially begun. A supervisor on location told Channel 5 News the project officially started on October 27.
We are discussing with the EU, the government is discussing the EU to find out exactly if we have to go and continue with the same scope as is original contract, or we can review and see if we can now use that same money on the same East Coast, but in another location. Because the scope of the project is a bridge at White River, culverts and the retaining walls and all around the Bois Diab to the White River area. So we are now looking at that, and we're waiting for the EU to give us an answer as to what we should do.
The intention for this area was to build a wall along the edge of the road, but it was discovered that the road was sinking because water was flowing underneath the roadway. This resulted in the team cutting the road in that area.
Galakanefil, which is the company doing the project, because they're on site now and they're already prepared to execute the project. So they're looking at all the things together with the consultant, together with the Ministry of Public Works, and to see how they go with the project. They have to assess in terms of what they have to do. And in some instances, the area got a lot worse than how it was before. For example, in the Odalis area, that area got a lot of damage. So we have to look in terms of the project. What is designed to do? We're designed to do under that project. We have to now look at it again. And I think that's what the consultant and also Gadakan is doing now.
Vehicles traveling along the Newfoundland Road are asked to exercise caution since there are broken and open trenches along the road.
Recent discussion with the PS that we need to include more signs. We need to bring the sign, especially the one that flickers at night. We need to order some of that so we can put, especially in gorge areas, especially the Whitaker Gorge area, in the bypass bridges on the west coast, so persons can know in advance that danger looms, because these areas are still fairly dangerous.
Since the original plan of the project has to be altered, a definite timeline on when the project will be completed has not been determined. I am Lurian Graham Carter reporting for Channel 5 News.
And the first of its kind super center specifically for locally manufactured products to open in Roseau in December.
The Dominica Manufacturers Association is behind the idea, which will not only provide a one-stop shop for local products, but the avenue to tap into overseas markets. The Buy Dominica Super Center will be located on 33 King George 5th Street and will be in business by the 1st of December. A management team of the executive of the Manufacturers Association will manage the operations.
It's not all local products that are manufactured here that are actually finding space on the existing supermarket shelves. When you go to the supermarkets, you will see maybe a little area where they say local products with some products there. But when you go in the wider area, you see an abundance of imported products which compete with what we do. We are creating the environment where everybody who manufactures products in Dominica will actually have a sales outlet where their products can be sold.
The non-profit organization will hire a staff and take on the cost of renting the space. While Mackenzie says they have received encouragement from the Ministry of Commerce, the initiative is being undertaken solely through their efforts.
We in the Manufacturers Association do not have the resources to actually purchase products from the manufacturers. So what we are asking them is a certain level of collaboration. And the only thing that we are asking of the manufacturers is to bring in their stuff for sale and for display. The arrangement is definitely going to be one of some consignment type of arrangement where we take the products, it is sold, they get paid. It is not sold, you cannot blame us for that.
Within the first 6 to 12 months of operations, management expects to have a sense of which products meet international standards to enable them to supply overseas markets.
So we could then move into the possibility of export of consolidated containers. Because one of the problems our manufacturers have is that they do not have sufficient volume individually to export. So everybody is selling their products on the local market because they cannot fill up a container. But with the initiative that we have undertaken, we can right now put 25 boxes of that product, 50 boxes of another, 60 bales of this, into a 40-foot container and target the export market. There are some people in New York for sure who have been in contact with us for years now wanting Dominican products, but it has been difficult.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, Prime Minister Skerritt on the just concluded donors meeting. Thanks for staying with us. Representatives from the United Nations Development Programme say Prime Minister Skerritt's vision is in sync with that of the development partners.
On Monday, government officials met with representatives of donor institutions and organizations at a Development Partners Conference. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt declared that the meeting had gone well and was very instructive. UNDP Representative Stephen O'Malley says the Prime Minister's call to rebuild better is being echoed by development partners.
When you think of the different initiatives that some of the development partners were putting on the table, for example, the Smart Hospitals program of DFID, the UK government, those are those kind of things that build stronger and more climate resilient infrastructure. And I think that Erica showed us how powerful nature can be, particularly in this time of climate change.
He applauded the other partners for their offers of technical assistance.
The kinds of engineering support that was on offer from a couple of different quarters, including the UN, the site planning, the offer of assistance with developing from the government of Mexico, developing a master plan for the new location of Tues17. There were some very, very concrete offers of technical assistance.
The number of technical areas of support from Japan, from Australia, you know, the Canadian government is prepared to provide us with further assistance. They have during the emergency and offers technical support. Mexico, both financial and technical support. Venezuelan government, in addition to the 300 homes that they have made available to us, they have indicated their willingness to assist with the airport and also the possibility of the construction of a bridge.
The Prime Minister encourages the public to be patient in anticipation of the country's reconstruction.
The Ministry of Education looking forward to the successful implementation of an early learners program launched here recently.
The program seeks to improve reading levels and strengthen the education system of participating member states. It was introduced to 6 OECS member states with funding from the USAID. The goal is to ensure citizens are strong in English and math.
If we are to ensure that our students compete in an increasingly competitive global environment, we must provide them with a high quality of education, which will ensure quality outputs in the world of work. Consequently, this program serves as a direct response to limitations with respect to the teaching and learning of literacy, both on national and sub-regional levels.
Dominica has maintained performance levels of 80% in literacy at grade 2 and 4 national assessments. Key officials from the Ministry of Education and the OECS met here recently to discuss strategies going forward for the Early Learners Program.
And residents of 2 West Coast communities severely affected by Tropical Storm Erica are set to receive further assistance during the country's rebuilding efforts.
That's the aim of the Erica Relief Fund created by the President's Charities Foundation.
The whole idea was to try to raise some funds to be able to assist some of the persons and the communities affected. And we chose the communities of Kulibi Street in the Salisbury constituency and the village of Collingwood in the Collingwood constituency, and decided that we would focus on support for the children of those 2 communities.
The aim is to raise $100,000 US, that's approximately 270,000 EC dollars.
Utilized in the first instance the reserve fund, and we started off the relief fund, with $27,000. The way in which we will approach this is that when the fund will have reached a certain level, not necessarily when we will have had everything, We will engage the leaders of the communities, that is to say the pal reps, the parish priest, the principal of the school, the PTA and so on, to dialogue with them and to hear from them how best they think we could be of assistance.
The money raised through this relief fund will be used to provide medium-term support for these affected areas.
Because we are not going to get into the question of food and clothing and things of that nature. We recognize that the impact of Erica will be with us for some time. And after the immediate initial shock and the relief supplies will have dried up, there will still be needs in these communities. And we therefore feel that we would like to be able to contribute towards addressing those medium-term needs.
The President's Charities Foundation had recently raised just over $30,000 for donation to 16 charitable organizations on island. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And in related news, assistance continues to pour in for pupils of the Roseau Primary School who were impacted by Tropical Storm Erica.
The Lions Club of Dominica, which hosts a weekly reading program at the school, put together items for some affected pupils. The club's first vice president says members came on board to assist those with whom they usually interact.
When they heard that some of the students who they come to on a regular basis were affected, they said that we, as a club, we had to help. So as a result, we put aside a few packages for the students because we know, just like anybody else they need, and as they are the future of our country, we wanted to ensure that they were comfortable.
The service club has also been helping Dominicans on a wider scale.
We've assisted the Red Cross in doing community assessments, and then we as a club took it on our own to start mobilizing our members, both locally and within the district. We've gotten financial contributions to the tune of $70,000 from our clubs across the region, and we also qualified for an emergency grant from International. Those funds have been used to purchase material supplies that were required urgently by those affected.
One of the southeastern communities which felt the effects of Tropical Storm Erica has been given special attention by the club.
We decided as a club from the onset to focus our efforts on the community of Dubic because they've been very dear to our hearts. We've been to Dubic, we've given them numerous contributions in terms of food, clothing, and we recently received a container of mattresses. We have allocated some of those to the community of Dubic. And we've also been to a number of communities. We've been to Coliho, we've been to Coolibee Stream, One Ratchet, Salisbury. We've gotten supplies from Guadeloupe, Matnik in terms of water, food items, clothing. We've gotten cash, even medical supplies.
The Lions Club of Dominica operates under the theme, We Serve.
Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
Cricket takes the first knock. The second test between Australia and New Zealand ended in a draw on Tuesday. It was New Zealand's turn at the crease on day 5 when they scored 104 for 2 in 28 overs. Taylor scored 36 and Williamson 32. Johnson claimed 2 for Australia. The scores at the end of the second test: Australia with 559 for 9 declared and 385 for 7 declared, and New Zealand scoring 624 and 104 for 2 in 28 overs. The teams are expected to clash again for their third test match on November 27 at the Adelaide Oval in Australia. Still in cricket, the third ODI between England and Pakistan favored England when they won by 6 wickets with 54 balls remaining. Pakistan batted first to gather 208. Hafiz contributed 45, while Wokes picked up 4 for England. England replied with 210 for 4, with Taylor at 67 not out and Butler 49 not out. Gohar took 2 wickets for Pakistan. On the football scene, Domlec Dominica Grammar School claimed an electrifying 19-0 victory when they faced Pierre Charles Secondary in an under-15 match at Portersville on Monday. Maxwell Joseph and Ethan Doctorow both scored 4 for Grammar School to help bring their team to the win. Still in Portersville, the Domlec Dominica Grammar School claimed yet another victory when they had St. Mary's Academy under their heel 4-1 in the under-20 category. Shane Cochran netted twice for Grammar School. Let's now move to Portsmouth, where the Isaiah Thomas Secondary accommodated no goals from Northeast Comprehensive to defeat them 4-0. Felix Anselm, Fanny Loda, Micah Joseph, and Ferdinand Royer were the dynamic four who ensured their team's win. And finally, home advantage did not favor Portsmouth Secondary when they lost to Dominica State College. The score was 1-0 in favor of Dominica State College. The lone goal came from Giles Mitchell. In some more football, President of the Dominica Football Referees Association, Neron Williams, says despite the provision made to new referees, a revised approach needs to be taken in order to maintain a high standard.
While every effort is being made in collaboration with the Dominica Football Association to develop a cadre of trained referees, it is the responsibility of every one of us involved to have the right attitude, be of good character, and have the professional approach which will encourage others to become one of us. It cannot continue to be business as usual if we are to be successful in this effort.
The association hosted its 35th annual general meeting on Monday, where local referees were awarded for their services. The awardees were David Joseph for outstanding years of service, Carlisle John Baptist for long service, Ainsworth Williams for a special service award, Travis Del Sol for the most improved referee, and referee of the year went to Clyde Cadet. And finally, 5 matches are scheduled for Wednesday's leg of the secondary schools netball championships. The Dominica Grammar School will have home advantage when they come up against the Wesley High for an under-16 and under-20 match. Meantime, over at Convent High, Goodwill Secondary and Northeast Comprehensive will be looking for the win when they face off for 2 matches. And Castle Bruce Secondary will be hoping for the upper hand when they play against the Isaiah Thomas Secondary in Castle Bruce. Well, that's how we wrap up our sports package. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again tomorrow.
Coming up next, a look at your weather.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. A tropical wave affected the islands of the Lesser Antilles during today as its axis moved across the area, and partly cloudy to cloudy skies were observed across Dominica. Visible satellite imagery also showed an influx of high-level clouds into the area from the west. Meanwhile, radar imagery indicated scattered shower activity mainly across the northern portion of the chain. Tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with some scattered showers. A relative improvement in conditions is expected tomorrow. Sea conditions tomorrow will be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. And looking ahead, unstable conditions are expected to continue to affect the island over the next 3 days, resulting in occasional cloudy skies with some scattered showers. And across the Lesser Antilles, similar conditions, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers are expected. And on our international cities forecast, skies are expected to be mostly cloudy in New York and Miami. There's a chance of rain in London, chance of thunderstorm in Caracas, and snow in Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:09 a.m. and will set at 5:32 p.m. For further information, call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thank you for joining us this evening. Have a good night.
That's news. The headlines again. A plan to rebuild Dominica on the agenda as the OECS authority gets down to business starting Wednesday. Public Works Corporation could be on the verge of bankruptcy, but the minister says they're working to turn that around. And Tropical Storm Erica sends planners back to the drawing board for the Bois Diab to White River Road project. Feel free to email us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube page. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.